We talk motorcycles powered by those V-twins, what fuels their passion, why you enjoy it so much. V-Twin Life is brought to you by these two great companies, Crash Inc. Clothing and Wild Ass Seats. Hey, you want to add some comfort to your ass when you're out riding, whether you're a 400-mile guy or maybe a guy that's pushing 1,000 plus, or female rider for that matter? Hey, check out wild-ass.com and add some comfort to your ass. Can't forget Crash Inc. Clothing, that Northwest brand out of the Pacific Northwest. Hey, these guys got a lot of great stuff, from t-shirts to hats, raincoats, you name it. Hey, they can get you covered. Check out crashinclothing.com. Now, let's dive into another milepost of the V-Twin Life.
Hey, what's up, all you motorcycle enthusiasts, and welcome back to another milepost of the V-Twin Life. We talk motorcycles powered by those V-Twins that feels a passion. I enjoy it so much. Hey, also tonight, milepost 64 with Tyler Jordan, aka, if you find him on TikTok, Instagram, TJ2_FXBB. Guy enjoys life on two wheels, works over at Cox's Double Eagle Harley in North Carolina. He's one of those guys that just enjoys it. So I figured, hey, why not get with another guy that just has that passion for life on two wheels, man? So Tyler, thanks for taking time out of your night and coming on to hang out and share some of your stories.
Yeah, man, absolutely, dude. I appreciate you having me. So really looking forward to it and hang out and talk bikes for a little bit.
There we go. Well, hey, let's get into it. So where did motorcycles come into life for you, man? What got you started?
Man, so kind of early on, like telling you earlier, we kind of done the whole dirt bike thing. Probably, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years old, somewhere through there. Dad kind of threw the dirt bike at Christmas and hold on, like kind of don't kill yourself, that type of thing, figure it out. So we've done that for a little bit, man. Got on the street at 18. 18, got my first bike, and I've been on something ever since then. So
nice. So, well, how long you been on the road then? How many years?
So it'll be right at 10 years now.
Okay.
Yeah, right at 10 years riding.
So what was your first bike that got you on the road? What'd you start with?
So yeah, first thing, man, I said I got the itch, and so none of my family rode. So we'll kind of start with that. Me and Dad was talking, wanting to get into it, and first thing I was like, I'm just going to get, kind of cheap, like metric bike, whatever, to get started. And Dad was like, hell no, like, you ain't gonna do that. Like, if you're gonna get you a bike, you're gonna get something nice. Or nicer. So I got a Dyna, started with a 2012 Dyna, and kept that one for about a year and a half, something like that. And then kind of started the trading process. So been through a few since then.
All right. So your dad's obviously ridden for a while, or was he also kind of getting into it at the same time?
Yeah, so he started pretty young. Took a break, like kind of, I don't really know. I never have had that conversation with him. That would be a conversation to have. Like, I don't know why he kind of took the break. I don't know if it was they got married, they had kids, the mom and dad conversation, you're not going to ride while the kids are young. I don't really know. But yeah, he didn't ride at all until like whenever I was 18. Me and him both got bikes. He's had a few too since I've been riding. Right now he doesn't have a bike, but we've got like 5 here. So most of the time he comes down and he just picks a bike and he goes out and rides with us. So it's still cool.
Yeah, I see you got a few in the stable behind you there.
Yeah. We got 1 or 2.
Right, can't go wrong. So, well, how long you been working it for? Now you work at, like I said, Cox's Double Eagle Harley Davidson. So how long you been there?
I've been there for just over a year now. Really, really cool. It's my first like sales gig. I've always kind of worked with my hands before. I mentioned to you earlier, I actually used to teach high school auto shop, and before that, I actually worked in NASCAR for a little bit and done a few different things. Always kind of tinkered with bikes throughout. But yeah, this is the first kind of job like I've got right now.
Nice. So what's kind of, your style of riding? You guys, enjoy more the day riding scene, or you also enjoy, the kind of guys who want to pack up for, 2 2-3 day adventure and just get out for a while?
Man, we really do everything. It's
Nice.
kind of the in between. Like most of the stuff that we do, we just do like on a whim. There's 5 to 7 of us, kind of group that we roll a lot. If everybody else don't make it, the wife, she rides her own too. So me and her go out. Most of the time, just the two of us. We'll do like day trips, and even if it's just like a local ride, like we've got some pretty twisty roads and stuff like that we hit. But we have taken a few big trips. Like last year, we done Iron Butt, kind of out to Texas from North Carolina, and then we spent like the next 8-9 days after that just kind of bouncing around in Texas, which was pretty cool. So you never really know what we're going to end up doing.
That's sweet. And then got to give your wife props. Like we were talking before we went live. I mean, she did an Iron Butt on a Sportster. I mean, that takes some goddamn dedication.
Yeah, dude. Like she's hard headed. Like love her to death. But it's funny, man, because like at work, we'll have customers come in all the time, and they get to talking like, well, I don't know what I want, but I know I don't want no Sportster. You can't ride on a Sportster. And I tell them that story. Well, she went, North Carolina to Texas in less than 24 hours on a Sportster. Like it can be done if you want to do it. And they're always like, what? There's no way. Like that's not real. But yeah, she's pretty cool.
So what was your guys' time on that? Because I'm curious myself.
Oh my God. So time wise, I'm not very proud of it. So I kind of start, we'll say this was our first one. I'd always wanted to do it. And the like 7 bikes or so that ride with us, everybody was doing it. Okay. So we done it took like 23 hours, like 14 minutes or something stupid like that. It was like cutting it close, like fighting like mechanical issues. Like I said earlier, Sportster 100 miles to a tank. Like we got to a little rough patch there where got a whole tank full of bad gas, and we had the whole siphoning experiment we had to get through. Just one thing after another, and then 2, you stop at a gas station, and if you're by yourself, you can gas and go pretty quick. If you've got 6 other people, everybody kind of spreads out, and it's like herding everybody. Like, guys, we got to get on the bikes and go. Like, we're on a time crunch here. So it did take a while, but it was worth it, like 100% worth it.
I mean, and and when it's your first one, you always kind of learn from that. I mean, I've done one myself. Mine was 18 hours and 4 minutes at 1,018 miles. But I mean, I was also riding solo, so that's a little different. But it's and the funny thing, I've had people go, "Why the hell would you want to do that?" That just seems stupid. I'm like, well, for me, I want to see if I had it in me. And it's like I told people, I don't know, like if you had the same thing, but I was watching my GPS for my ending destinations. Like I hit around that 700, 750 mile mark, and I got that second wind. I'm like, hell yes. And, I had a blast, and I will definitely be doing more. And it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. And it's a blast. And the big thing that kind of hurts us, just particularly where we're located, like time-wise, if we do a 500 out and 500 in, which a lot of people do, it's not that big of a deal. We can do that without hitting anything too stupid. But we were doing the 1,000 straight out and going to make it like a week vacation after we got out kind of thing. And pretty much any way that you go from where we're at, you either got to go through Atlanta, go through like the DC kind of area. And it's like, you're going to hit pretty shitty traffic somewhere, which is going to kill a lot of time.
Yeah. So now, did you guys start early in the morning, or what was your time frame when you left?
Yeah, so we had this thing planned for like 6 months. Like, at the time, like I was still working with the school, so it was like that was our like spring break week. We done it like first week of April, which weather is typically really good here in April. Like it may not be like fantastic, but it's usually not bad. So we had everything planned, like we were going, that kind of thing. And we had like a freak cold front. And the morning we left at like either 4 a.m. or we may have pushed it back to 5 a.m. But it was like 28 degrees. And it was just one of those things, like it started kind of crappy, like right from the get-go. Like everybody wasn't quite ready to leave out in that kind of temperature. But it worked. It was like odd enough, man. So another friend of mine that rode with us, he's actually an amputee. And so his left leg is a prosthetic, so he can't shift with it. So he's got one of the Prindle like electric shifters.
Mm-hmm.
And he came down and stayed with us the night before. And we get up, like get out, get on the bikes, fire them up, pull like out of my driveway, and his bike won't shift. Like it won't go from first to second. And I'm like, you are absolutely kidding me. And like it would finally shift. And he was like, man, like I've never ridden like this thing like in this temperature. Like I've never ridden it this cold. And like we finally got it, but it was like one of those things. Like we started off with some kind of stupid stuff like that, and it was kind of like just little hiccups along the road, like almost the whole 1,000 miles.
So I remember I did mine. I started at 3:30 in the morning, and I went to get gas at the fuel station, and the gas pump got done. Well, it wouldn't give me a receipt. It said there's an error with it. I'm like, fuck, I just filled up. So I went to the next gas pump in front of me and got like 10 cents worth of gas. Hit the receipt thing. Same thing. It wouldn't spit me out a receipt. I'm like, you got to be kidding. I'm like, fuck. But I was able to, get things to work. But yeah, I mean, that was basically the only little hiccup I had of mine was just my starting point when it didn't want to give me gas receipt so I could have my starting time. But yeah, work my way around that. But yeah, everything else, mine was good. See, like yours, I did mine. Wasn't a 500 out and back. Mine was 1,000 miles to Idaho with a big, detour through Montana. So it was cool, seeing a lot of areas. Kind of had to, do a little bit of homework because I was going through areas I wasn't familiar with. So playing with Google so I could, figure out my gas stops and gas stations. But it was a blast.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing, man. They really are fun. Like I really want to do another, a few more. Because like I said, going with the whole group, man, like that was great. Like that was one of those things that you can't like, replicate, because we've got just stupid stories from that it's like, we'll laugh about forever.
Absolutely.
But, part of me wants to be like, if I just hit it solo and just win, like, what kind of time could we end up with, that type of thing.
See, there was a group, they did, the ride 1K in a day. The other, there's two different. You got the Iron Butt, you got ride 1K in a day. The Fast Six, which was Crash Inc., Brad Columbus, and some of his cronies, they did it in fucking 11 or 12 hours.
Yeah.
1,000 miles an hour, 500 out, 500 back. But I know they were mobbing the freeway.
Yeah. 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 And that's the thing, man. Like, I wish that, like, I could start, like I said, kind of like in a better, like, geographical spot, because I know like a lot of guys, like you'll see like Ride 1K, like they'll post like the route of like a lot of the quick ones, and it's like out west, like Arizona to like western Texas ish, and it's like, I've ran some of those roads before, and it's just like dead straight, like wide open, and just send it.
Yeah, see, that's for me why I started early, because from where I'm out on the peninsula in Washington, it's about 2.5 hours to the Puget Sound area, and I wanted to get through that Seattle-Tacoma area before traffic started. So I left early so I could get through that and then hit I-90, where it's generally pretty much just wide open, and you can go and you don't really got to worry about much traffic congestion until you hit eastern Washington, which mainly that's going to be the Spokane area, and that was 400-ish miles in. And by the time I hit that was, early mid-morning time, and I didn't have much hiccup or with traffic there, so that worked out good.
Yeah, yeah. And see, like, that's the thing, man. Like, the route and the timing really, really is everything.
Yeah.
Like, and that's, a lot of people don't want to get up, like, super early, leave 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. But that really is kind of the way to do it, I think.
And for me, I did that because I think one of the bigger things was I didn't want to have to ride through an area that I was unfamiliar with in the dark. I'd rather try to get there late evening time, and I can go through all the areas, where I live in the state when it's dark, where I'm comfortable. I know the roads, and that way I could try to get where I was going and still have, sunlight, which I got there, it was a little after dark, but most of it, I didn't have much issues when it came to, riding in the dark and unfamiliar area. So it worked out good.
Exactly.
And for me, that's the way I like to plan it, and it worked good. And like I said, it's not going to work that way for everybody. Everybody kind of has their own style, and hey, it's all what comes down to what's going to fit you for what you want.
Exactly. And like when we first started planning it, man, like we were thinking to start with about like leaving later at night, and just kind of running through the night that way.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know if you've ever been like anywhere near Atlanta or not.
No.
Like anybody listening that's driven through Atlanta knows that like you're going through there and there may be a dead stop where you don't move for 2 hours. And that's just because of normal traffic. So like to start with, man, we were going to try to leave at like 9-10 o'clock at night, which would have put us going through Atlanta at like 2-3 a.m. And so that kind of would have worked. But then a couple people were like, I don't know if I want to like work all day and then ride through the night and then most of the next day. And I'm like, yeah, okay, we'll scrap that idea and just leave in the morning and take what we got.
Maybe just head west and try to bypass that whole area. Say, piss on that.
Yeah, exactly.
So what do you think, concerning like, your trips you've had, what's one of your best memories you think you've had on two wheels riding?
Oh man.
Or maybe even a good story.
Yeah. Like it can be like so many different things. One of the favorite would just be like when the wife first started, and this is like not a like great riding story, not great riding location or anything else, but just her like on her bike for the first time, like riding here local, because it was like she'd ridden with me for probably, I don't know, forever, like however long it had been. She'd always been on the back. She was like, I really want to ride. And, we like practiced around the house and stuff, and I don't want to like sound super unsafe or whatever. Like she went and got her permit, all that good shit. But yeah. So like that guy's not out there like, you shouldn't let her ride on the road, but whatever. But yeah, like she got to the point where she was comfortable with it, man. And we have, at the time we just had like the little cheapo, like Bluetooth comms. Like now we have the Sennas in our helmets and stuff. But yeah, like we had that, man, and I was like following her, like talking to her the whole time. And after that, like she's taken off like a rocket. But like destination wise and things like that, when we were out on that trip to Texas, like there was just some really, really good memories, like the good ones and the bad ones. We ended up like coming back, trying to miss like just this massive rainstorm. And we were like, okay, like instead of coming home like the way that we were planning on, like we're just going to shoot north and run through Arkansas, because like apparently it's not going to rain in Arkansas. And then we get up there and it's like pitch ass black, like absolute like monumental rain. Like, I've ridden through rain multiple times. I've ridden through storms. Like it is what it is. It sucks, but it kind of works. Yeah. And this was next level. Like lightning, like literally looked like road maps, and we're just like kind of suffering through it, And I was the only one that brought rain gear, and then everybody's giving me shit because I was wearing my rain gear and they were all without it. And
smart traveling and packing right there.
Yeah. It's like, we're going like halfway across the country, like probably gonna hit it at some point. Yeah. But like just like one of the funniest things, man, like we stopped, we were like probably 70-80 miles like outside of Little Rock, and like just stopped at this little gas station, like take a break from like getting pelted. And we were trying to get like to Nashville like that night, which was still another like, I don't know, 3-4 hours. And like one of the guys that was like, dude, like I can't do this anymore. Like absolutely cannot do it. And I'm like, well, like, we can crash like somewhere like pretty close to here. And he's like, all right, cool. Well, I'm gonna go in this gas station. There's like this like high school age kid like working the like counter or whatever. He's like, I'm gonna ask this kid if like what there is to do in Little Rock. Like there's got to be something to do there. And like I said, the whole time we've been riding, like there was like nothing. Like maybe one like little like podunk gas station every like I don't know 70, 80 miles or something.
Mhm.
And there's nothing in Arkansas. Like, that was just kind of like the running joke. And but he gets in and he asks this kid, like we're all like standing outside, you know, like kind of like looking into the gas station as he's asking him. And like we just see the kid just kind of go like, you know, just kind of shrug his shoulders, like, you know, like there's not shit to do there. And like that just like broke this dude's heart, like right off the bat. And we like finally get to Little Rock. We get this hotel, and he's just pissed. Like he is like wet, soggy, like over life. And he's like, I'm going to the gas station. Like I'm getting some beer because this is absolutely ridiculous. And like he like walks across the street, like comes back and is like furious. And I'm like, what's the problem? I'm like, what's up? And he's like, we picked a hotel in a dry county. So yeah, like no alcohol in the county, like period. And so yeah, that just like totally broke his heart.
Damn dry counties.
Yeah.
Oh shit. That would suck though. I could feel his pain after a day like that. It's like fuck, I just want a drink too, and then you find out you can't get it.
Yeah, and like it, we were probably like in nonstop pelting rain for probably 4 hours or so. Like it wasn't like, you know, we just hit a shower. It was like nonstop riding and just like a downpour. So yeah, he was done for.
Yeah, that could definitely put a crimper in your evening for sure. I know. I'd fucking
Yeah.
Oh fuck, that's shit.
Yeah, but it's funny, like because as much as it sucked at the time, like now when we're all like sitting around like just drinking, hanging out, it's like, you know, where we want to go next, and everybody's like, well, damn sure not Arkansas.
Exactly. It's situations like that. I mean,
Yeah.
for some they'll suck at the moment, but you know, the next day or whenever you can look back and laugh
Yeah.
on it. I mean, I've had
Yeah.
same thing, you know, when I broke down on the side of the road once. It's like at the moment it sucks, but even 5 minutes later down the road, it's like I'm laughing on my helmet. It's like, you know what? Well, fuck, there's a hell of a story. You know,
Yeah.
it's just all part of the adventure.
Yeah.
And you travel,
It
stuff happens.
is, man. It is, and it's like the stupidest things. Like on the same trip, like one of our guys got a flat tire, like going down the interstate, and we're pulled over like just outside of Dallas, like whatever interstate that is, I don't even know. But sitting there, like he's got a like pinch tube, like just pouring air out of it, and we like look over, and his brother has like walked like off of the highway, like out to this fence, and it's just like peeing on the fence and writing his name. And like he turns around, he's just like smiling and waving at us, like pointing at it, like so proud of like what he had accomplished. And it's like, you know, that's another one of those like stupid things that just made that funny.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, if kind of a way I've been one of those guys, I mean, somebody have a shitty moment, whatnot, but you know, if somebody like myself, you know, try to make a joke out of it just to, you know, make somebody's day, you're having that shit moment. But if you can laugh or smile for a second, sometimes it makes it a little bit better. But you know, like I said though, it's all part of the adventure and the fun. You can look back and you just die laughing at some of that shit.
Yeah. I mean, you can't let like one little thing like ruin a day or ruin a trip or anything like that, you know?
Yeah. Very true. So what now, when you're kind of doing these, you know, adventure trips like you're talking about, what are you riding? Which bike you taking?
So I've got the 18 Street Bob that eventually I'm going to get a road glide. Like that's just kind of the thing. But I don't really need it, if that makes sense. I've put like 20,000 miles on that bike since I got it a couple years ago. You know, it's done, you know, 1,000-mile days. Hadn't let me down. Like, always been super comfortable. Now I've put, you know, enough money into it. I could have bought a road glide. I've got like, you know, nice suspension, like that whole deal. So the bike works really well for me.
Well, that's kind of the whole point. I mean, no matter what you're buying is, I mean, you're going to spend money on it, but when you outfit that bike to fit you, You know,
Exactly.
you get the comforts and what you want out of it. And, for, Joe Blow, you might think you're stupid for doing what you're doing. It's comfortable.
Yep. And like my thing, man, like, so many people be like, man, the way that you ride, like, you need a bagger. Like, I've had a Street Glide, like, rode a Street Glide for a long time and, kind of moved on to different stuff. But, like, my wife rides her own. Like, she's got 2 bikes.
Yeah.
Like, she's not on the back with me. There's nothing really, not a huge benefit there where it's like, we really need to get, whatever bike this is. So, that one kind of works for me. Like I said, I'm going to buy a Road Glide just because I want a Road Glide eventually. But
Shark Nation,
yeah,
man.
it's
All about that Shark Nation.
It is. Like Dad said, like 100% is.
Well, it's like I said, if you've had a Street Glide, you can understand the handling differences because you've had both. And, a lot of people that seem to go from that Batwing and they like that solid mount of fairing that, the old shark nose. And to each their own. Some don't like them, some do. I know for me, I love mine, and it's all, but everybody outfits the bike for them, and what fits them fits them.
Exactly. And like, the whole like Street Glide, Road Glide debate is always, going to be a big thing. People come in at the shop all the time that have either ridden Street Glides forever that'll say, I'll never touch a Road Glide, or, kind of vice versa. The way that I always show people the difference, if you just walk over to a Street Glide, kind of like, or any Batwing bike for that, just kind of like grab the edges of the fairing and do the whole shake thing and be like, yeah, look at your front wheel. Like every time the wind blows, that's what's happening. And then they're like, oh, okay, yeah. And then they do a demo ride, especially on a windy day. That's the big thing, man. If it's a day that the wind's up and you send them out, do a demo ride on both, they come back and go with a Road Glide every time.
Yeah.
And that's
they do. I mean, I've ridden through, God, we came through the Columbia Gorge between Washington and Oregon one time. I mean, I had such a headwind at me. I was wide open and I couldn't get past 60. And if I let off the throttle, it was like I was slamming my brakes on.
Yep.
But handling wise, not a problem. But oh man, you get down there for us in that gorge, and man, it's known for the winds, and it can get fucking flat and nasty with the wind.
Yeah.
And it is nice where that frame mounted fairing, you can cut through that shit.
You can. I mean, it goes right through there. And another thing too, man, that I noticed that the Road Glide really, really does well, especially if you get like I don't want to say a smaller rider, but somebody that can't handle weight as well, or somebody that's new to like a touring bagger kind of platform. Not having that added weight on the front end gives them a very big confidence boost.
I can understand that.
That's kind of the big thing that I see like at the dealership. They're like, as they're turning the bike, like in a parking lot or picking it up off the kickstand, that type of thing, they're like, yeah, like there's a lot less weight on the front end. That, granted, it's not a ton of weight, doesn't make a huge difference. It's more of a like, kind of
second thought.
Yeah, it's more of that type of thing. But that's what every single person says. And like forever the Street Glide was the hot seller. Then it was got to be kind of 50-50. Now the Road Glide, they've definitely kind of surpassed the Street Glide.
I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some damn sexy Street Glides I've seen out there. I mean, I've been a fan of them,
absolutely.
I love my, Road Glide. I don't think I wouldn't go backwards, but it doesn't say maybe I wouldn't purchase another one, have a Street Glide also.
Yeah. And the big thing, man, like talking to people, this, like, if you've ridden a Batwing bike for years and you got a lot of miles on one, you're used to that stuff. You like to see the fairing turn when you turn the bars. You like being able to kind of point your headlight wherever you're going to point your headlight.
On that was a big thing when it first got used to, is having that fixed headlight when you turn, even at slow speeds at night. It's like, hey, well, okay, this is a little different. I got to get used to this.
Yep. But once you get used to it, it's just a thing.
Oh, exactly.
But yeah, like I said, the guys that have put down a lot of miles on Batwing bikes, usually that's what they're going to stay with until they like. I don't want to say this and piss a bunch of people off, but until they like set their pride aside and like actually ride one and give it an honest chance. That's the big thing, because so many people, man, and like I said, I see this every day. They'll come in, I've ridden a Street Glide for 10 years or whatever they have, and they're like, I don't like that fixed fairing mess, yes,
No,
yeah. Jesus rides a road glide, that's for sure.
Jesus prefers road glides. That's fucking epic.
Yeah, I love it.
But
yeah,
it was like that. I'd met an old guy. He was probably in his 70s. I was up at North Sound Harley Davidson up by Everett, up North Washington. And our company had this, beautiful CVO road glide. Hey, it's fucking nice bike. And he's like, it's okay. I'm like,
yeah.
What do you mean? And he's talking, well, I had a CVO street glide. He goes, it was great. He fucking had a fucking stage forward it, exhaust cam. He just built the shit out of it. He's like, but I get going. He goes, I'd hit 130 plus and I get this buffering in my front end. He's like, I put a steering stabilizer on. He did all this shit. And he's like, well, then I thought about it. I'm like, well, fuck, they make a CVO road glide. And I think it's had the 117 in it because this was probably 2 years ago. Yep. And I'm like, okay. Well, so how's everything about it? He's like, this fucking thing is so slow. It's like I'm riding a slug. It doesn't even get out of its own way.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, man. This guy's like 70 and just bitching about it. It's like, driving a Pinto. Awesome. Like, Jesus Christ, dude. It's like, I kind of want to ride with you. Just want to experience your style of riding. It's like, holy shit.
Yeah. Yes. I had this customer, man, not too long ago. He's the same way. He's the older guy, like mid to late 70s. Awesome dude. Like, love him. Like, bought a Road King special. First thing he did, like 131 kit, like forget about the warranty. Like he did the Power Vision, like, like absolutely like everything he can get. Dude done like throttle body, like different injectors, like was getting with it. And he was like,
let's void that
like,
warranty.
And he's a big Mopar guy too. So he's got, 2 or 3 like hot rodded up Challengers. And he was like, this was right when the 392 Wranglers came out. And he was like, yeah. I just ordered one of those too. He was like, why not? And I was like, man, if you got it like that, and that's what you're about, then, more power to you.
Yeah. No kidding.
But yeah, like I said, it was funny, man. Like little bitty. And I'm a short dude too, but man, he was like little tiny short guy, like mid 70s. And like could barely like get on the bike anyway. But he was like, if I got one, it's gonna run. And I'm like, all right, there we go.
Cool. Let's get with it. So here's one for you. Why do you love riding? Well, what is it about it that just gets you?
It varies, man. Like a big part of it is just, and it sounds cliche, but the wind therapy. Like if you like go out, and like I said, we ride with other people a lot, but there's still a lot of times where like I get on a bike by myself, like just get out and go, and hour 2 hours, like nothing crazy, but that like kind of sets aside everything that's going on in your head, and it's just like a reset. When you get back, other thing, like just the people that I have met like through riding. It's like, if motorcycles was not a big part of my life, there would be so many people that are good friends of mine that I probably would have never met. And you kind of have to chalk that up, to being a part of riding as well, because like I said, if it wasn't for that, you guys would have never met.
Yep. No, that's true. And I think it also goes along with the fact that, how many times have you been to a gas station getting gas, and that should have been, a less than a minute ordeal, but you spark that conversation with somebody. You might be there 5 minutes, could be 10, but all of a sudden you literally built a friendship with somebody you don't even know, but you had that common ground of 2 wheels.
Exactly. Man, like I met a very good friend of mine like that one day. I can't even remember where we were at, man. It was just odd enough, man. I think we were like I was out riding, like the wife had to stop by like a Michael's or something, like the craft store, like kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
She had to pick something up, and it's like we pulled in there, and yeah, this younger kid came up on like this kind of like chopped up Sportster and like parked with us and stuff, and he was like, "Hey, like, what's up? You guys got some nice bikes?" And we're like, "Yeah, man, like appreciate it. Like everything's cool." And we ended up like getting to be really good friends. Like, we've rode a lot, done a lot of cool stuff together. So that was just one of those like random things of, she had to stop and get thread or something stupid like that, and got a new friend because of a bike. Like that was pretty cool.
Yep. And that's awesome. And it's. I mean, I know I've done the same thing myself, and I think one time was like a guy. He was now riding a gold. Like, oh, I used to have a Harley, and tell me some old stories. And what all comes back to it's like I don't matter. I don't care what a guy rides, and it's cool sometimes you meet these older guys. I mean, I guess now I would say older. I feel old sometimes myself, but these older guys are 60s or 70s, and they'll see the bike and they'll get that little smirk, and all of a sudden, hey, you know what? You want to hear something cool? And they'll start telling you some story, and compliment your bike. It's like, well, I used to have an old Road King, and they go down the old fucking memory lane, and it is really cool to get that experience just from some guy you never knew when you're in some little podunk town, but because of you riding, spark that little memory for him, and in turn you get to hear some cool stories, and get to hear some of his memories.
Exactly, man, and that's what it's all about. I told you earlier, man. Like, I don't care what you ride. Like, I ride Harleys. I work for a Harley shop. But I'm not a Harley like brand snob at all. Like I don't care like what you ride. If we can sit and talk about bikes, like that's super cool.
Yep.
Like so another bike that we've got, like, and I may have put this on Instagram. I can't remember. I hadn't like posted about it in a while. So my wife's grandfather, this is kind of like a little tangent story. It was a cool little bike. He passed away in like the 90s, like kind of thing. Like, I never met him, but her grandmother, still alive, she does really well. She like quilting is her big thing. Like she makes quilts. Mm-hmm. And year or so ago, I had a ton of just like old dealership t-shirts, that I've gotten, from just different places all over the country that was just either thrashed out shirts or I couldn't wear them anymore, things like that. And I let her make a quilt out of them. And she was like, I bet you didn't know I had a motorcycle, do you? And I was like, nah, like I didn't know anything about that. And, she was like, well, come out here real quick. I want to show you something. And she goes out like a little shed, and it is a 1967 Bridgestone, like the same Bridgestone. And little thing, like, I mean, obviously it had been sitting for a while. Like it wasn't perfect, anything like that. But she was like, yeah, like, I tell you what, if you can get it to run, you can have it. And I'm like, that's not my style. Like I don't want to do that, but I would like to see if I could get it to run. And just because that'd be cool as shit. It's a little like 2-stroke, like 175 cc. They're like, yeah, like they all had them, like back when they were young. Like it was probably the early 70s. Like they used to ride to the beach and do all this. And I'm like, shit, like I gotta get this little thing to run, man. Like this thing is cool. And
full of memories.
Like, yeah, and it was cool, man. Like I said, I kicked it. It had compression. Like it was free, and I'm like, if this thing will turn over, like I can probably get it to run. I was like, I'll come back and pick it up with my trailer tomorrow. And went over to pick it up. I was like getting the bike out and loaded and stuff, and she come out. She was like, I got something for you on the seat of your truck. And I was like, oh, yeah, like, what you got? And she's like, just don't worry about it. And like, got in the truck to leave, and it was the title for the bike. Like
holy crap,
she still had it. Like, yeah, like still had the thing. And like, it hadn't been retitled since I think it was like 68 or 69 was the last time the title had been transferred. It was like so old that I took it to the plate office, right, to like get it sent off and transferred. and they sent me to 3 different plate offices, and I had to go to like a main one because they were like, yeah, like we hadn't
don't know what to do
seen
with that.
yeah, like we haven't seen a title
Oh.
this old and like so long. They had to like go in and like add a bunch of zeros to like the VIN number because it was like old to the point where it wouldn't even like show, like it wasn't a full like 17 character VIN, and yeah, it was like a whole ordeal. But yeah,
Holy
it's a
crap.
cool little thing.
That's just that's just an awesome story in itself.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
freaking
and it's like
super cool.
And it made her so happy to see it run, because that thing had sat in a shelter with like an old like moving quilt over it since probably sometime in the mid 80s, I would probably guess. And like
Wow.
for her to see it run and move and be used, like that was a big thing for her. She was like born and raised like kind of in the Depression, so it's like one of those things where she hates to see stuff like not be used.
Yeah.
Like everything's got to be used. Like you go, you get a like tub of butter from the grocery store, like that's Tupperware now. Like that's not getting thrown out. Like that's just her kind of mentality, which is awesome.
Those are great
awesome.
for my lunch. Come on now, I like to do that.
Exactly. Yeah. Like there's nothing wrong with it. Like 100%.
Oh, dude, you got to find a picture of that bike and get it posted, because I got to see what it looks like. I'm curious as hell.
I will. Yeah. I think that it's on Instagram somewhere, but I'll
take a
repost
dive.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll definitely repost it.
Oh, hell yeah. So what do you got behind you, though? I mean, obviously we can see, looks like your street bob's behind your shoulder. And then
So this, found out which one. So that's the wife's Sportster. And then figure out which way we're going here. So yeah, that's her Softail. That's the Sport Glide. And then that one is the Street Bob. That one's mine there. And then like I said, I've got a shovel head too, little kind of sketchy chopper shovel head. Buddy of mine's painting it right now. It should be like back and done soon. Like he's got it like all cleared, buffed, like everything's ready. So that's I don't want to say that's my favorite bike, because like that Street Bob like has kind of been a like ongoing project for a couple years, and I've really put a lot like into that one to get it to be like right. Mm-hmm. But there's something about that old shovel head, man, that's just like cool, Yeah, and it's
old,
like you
the old Milwaukee iron.
It is like it's like absolutely like the slowest bike like ever. Like this old Sportster back here would like burn it up. Like suspension on it's pretty horrible. Like it's loud, it smells funny, very comfortable, but it's like you go ride it, like you have a good time. Like you're not going to have a bad time riding it, kind of thing.
And then and that's what it is. You're whether good, bad, slow, or whatnot, you're riding, you're having a good time. Then you know what? That's the best part about it.
That's it, man. And like I love old stuff, the stuff that's like 40, 50 years old that like is like just amazing to be still running, kind of thing, and if you can get it out, ride it, like put some miles on it, that's always a good thing.
Yeah. So what do you think? So
yeah, like, I'm probably not going to take off and go Iron Bud, but
yeah, no shit. So what do you think is probably what you'd say one of your worst memories you've had on two wheels, or something that just was that dump moment for you?
Oh man, honestly, dude, that's a tough one. Like knock on wood, like I've never been down. That there's not like that kind of story. I've never, like, looking back, there's not that just bad memory that absolutely sucked. There's been those days it was like, man, I can look back and remember that was like so cold that it hurt, or like that weather sucked, or that was just a lackluster day kind of thing. But it's not like there's that one really, really bad day. Listen, most people would probably be, the the time that they went down or something like that. But like I said, knock on wood, that's never happened. So
Okay. I'm just curious how, it's just one of those, question whether it's like, I don't know, some people might break down. I mean, you have that however long you spent, it sucks at that moment, but maybe, down the road, it's like you can laugh. But at that time,
yep.
it's a horrible time. But,
Yeah, like
it's just one of those
there's
questions to
always
see what people think.
yeah, there's always those times, man. It's like, something breaks, something goes down, you're like, damn, that sucks. And it's like super inconvenient. But it's coming from like kind of a mechanical background. Like I may be pissed off for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes or something, but it's like at the end of the day, like, I know it can be fixed, like
Yeah.
it can always be fixed and be replaced. Like, this is not the end of the world, so that's, I really don't have like that bad time. Everybody's been broke down on the side of the road for a while. There's always been that one. I would say probably the worst like experience of that is not even directly riding related, but it is bike related. And I say this because my wife was pissed. So with the street bob, me, a buddy of mine, like we were doing cams. We both, had ordered a cam kit. Like I said, I turn wrenches and stuff. So I was like, yep, cool. I can throw both of ours in. Like that's not a big deal. All to it. For whatever weird reason, we didn't do it here. It may be because it was before my shop was like up and done. But we done it at his place and got over and I was like, yeah, man, like it's not going to take long. Like it'll be a quick, easy, that's the problem. You never say it'll be quick and easy like before you start.
Yeah.
Because it never turns out to be quick and easy. But yeah, like we done it and it was like everything was going smooth. And we got the cam bearing tool to pull the old one out. He had bought the tool. He was like, I'll buy the tool, like take care of all that and everything else. If you just if you do mine, like I'll cover basically all the like parts expenses and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, dude, that's cool. Awesome. He had took the tool out, like playing with it and stuff, and lost the big nut off of it. That is very, very crucial to getting that old cam bearing out. So, like, I got everything together. And I'm like, hey, man, like, where's that nut that goes on here so we can start pulling this out? And he's like, it's not in the box. And I'm like, nah, it's not in the box at all. And he's like, shit, I don't know where it's at. And like scrambles looking for it. He ends up going like some hardware store trying to find one. Gets back and it's in the saddlebag of his bike, which is just, like love to God to death, but come on, dude. And anyway, like got through that, got everything together and putting the push rods and stuff back in. And part of it was my fault. I will say that because I was trying to cheap out just a little bit, but the second part of that was they were supposed to fit and supposed to work. Emphasis on the supposed to. So got everything back together and like from around the push rod tubes, man, this thing is like spitting, puking oil like everywhere. Like they're not sealing. And so pull it back out. And my buddy had bought some different ones. He'd actually bought the S&S push rod tubes and that the whole like S&S shebang. And I'm not going to say the ones that I use because we're not getting to that whole like fashion moment, but
no problem. I get
they didn't work. There's only like one or two like push rods that people like even talk about. That's not the S&S ones, and it was one of those one or two. But yeah, so got them in. Like ended up putting the S&S stuff in like the next day. Like everything was fine. At this point, it's like 2:00 in the morning, and my buddy's house is 45 minutes to an hour away from my place. And yeah, the wife had to come get me, and she was not very happy about that. Yeah, she was, because she was long asleep, like everything else,
Oh
and
yeah.
like calling the whole like where you at kind of thing. And I was like, yeah, we got a problem now. And so yeah, she was pretty upset about having to get up at like 2 o'clock in the morning and driving.
Yeah, getting that phone call at dark 30.
Yeah. That wasn't cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I can understand that, but yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
So now, down where you live in, man, what's one of your? You got an area that you just like to go to when it comes to riding that you just really enjoy?
Man, like I do, and I've got a few, because we were kind of talking, I think before we got started, like we're in a real central spot, so I'm almost like 2 to 3 hours away from anything. I've got a ton of really good roads like right around the house. It's like good curvy roads where if you really want to like kind of get down with it and really rip some roads up, like you can do that. Like that's just like right down the road from the house. There's a lot of really good like scenic spots like within an hour. Got a couple of state parks. Like one of the TikToks I posted the other day was from a state park like an hour from the house, and it's just beautiful spot. Like got a big mountain overlook. You go down to another part, it's by a lake, like right there in the same park. So super nice. And then too, like I said, we're 2.5 hours from like Myrtle Beach, where we're at. Myrtle Beach is
nice.
Kind of hit or miss. I don't know if you've ever been to Myrtle Beach or not, but
no, I haven't been to the East Coast, so I haven't ventured that way yet.
Yeah. You hear all the things about Myrtle Beach, man. It used to be a happening spot, but now it's kind of like a, kind of But yeah, like we go down there a lot. That's a pretty standard like day trip. It's like, what you want to do? Like, no, I don't know. Let's ride a little bit, and we'll just like go to the beach, like have a beer, or get a burger or something, like come home.
Yeah.
The North Carolina mountains, depending on where you're going, a couple hours, like we can hit Blue Ridge Parkway. Tail of the Dragon is like 4-ish hours away from where we're at. Still not bad. You can still like go do that whole thing. Come back. You can do it in a day trip. It gets a little tight, but a lot of times we do that like an overnight kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Which is cool. I mean, you're in an area of the country that is, pretty scenic. I mean, for me, I've seen pictures of the people's, throughout social media, and I think it is a beautiful part of the country that I'd love to venture to one of these days and check out for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, well, shit, man. Thanks for coming on, man. Go ahead and let everybody know where they can check you out. Maybe plug the dealership if you like. Totally up to you.
Yeah, man. Like absolutely. I appreciate you having me on. Like it's been really, really good time. Like like I told you, I can sit around and talk bikes and stuff like this forever. But yeah. So I'm on Instagram, TikTok. Not Instagram as much as I probably should be. But yeah, it's TJ2 _FXBB. Obviously Facebook too. And but yeah, I'm at Cox's Double Eagle Harley in the sales department. So if anybody out this way is listening, wants to drop by, say hello, anything like that, definitely drop by. Like don't feel like oh, I'm going to see a sales guy, it's going to be a pressured thing, because like that's not my style. Like I just like to hang out and talk to people. So but yeah, like I said, man, that'd be cool. So
sweet. Hey, thanks everybody for tuning in. Hey, Tyler, man, thanks a lot for coming on, sharing some stories and whatnot, man. It's been a lot of fun, and this is the whole thing why I like to do this: meet other people that share that passion and enjoy life on two wheels.
Yeah, man, so absolutely. Guys, like I said, I really appreciate you having me. Would definitely like to come back on sometime too. So,
oh man, hey, absolutely. The door. It's like I've told basically everybody's been on, man. You come on, man. It's an open door. You guys want to come back? Anybody want to come back? Shoot the breeze, talk stories. Man, the door is always open, man. Shoot me a message, shoot me a phone call, because that's the cool thing doing this is I built a friendship with everybody. I mean, like us, we mentioned back and forth text and talking on the phone, and that's the other, benefit to this in a way, I guess you can say, is that network of people you can build. You're somewhere on the other side of the country, you got a question about something, maybe you broke down, whatever. It's like, what? I remember I had, Tyler on, I'm down, say North Carolina, and I was like, shit, I need some help, got to figure something out. And it's like, hey, I know somebody I got, and there we go. So
Yeah,
no,
like,
it's
absolutely.
awesome.
Absolutely. And like I said too, like anybody listening, man, like if you've got any kind of like, bike related questions or anything like that, like I actually had somebody message me from, gosh, where were they at? Like, I can't remember, somewhere like Utah or something crazy the other day, but somebody hit me up through TikTok, and whenever they bought their bike, the dealer like never showed them like how their whole PIN code worked and everything. And they had some questions about that. And by all means, like, my door is always open. I've always got a phone. So, anybody's ever got any questions about anything, like, give me a shout. I'll try to help you get it figured out.
Hey, that's awesome. No, and that's cool. That's the whole cool world of how I guess society has changed with the whole world of social media that we all live in that we didn't have 20 years ago, is how things have changed when it comes to reaching out, talking with people, or advice, or anything.
So, yeah, and that's like that's a really cool thing about I guess the world that we live in. I mean, it's pretty easy. Like, we're literally across the country from each other, but it's super easy to sit here and have a conversation.
Oh, very true. In a way, you're basically face to face too. It's it's crazy how things
exactly
progress and how we live in now. Very true. So, hey, man, thanks a lot, guys. Hey, thank you, everybody, for tuning in to Milepost 64. This has been a lot of good times, and I enjoy doing this. Thanks, everybody keeps tuning in. All you guys are subscribing, following the channel. So, hey, you guys, enjoy those roads. Ride safe. Have fun. We'll catch you next week on Milepost 65.